You're going to be anything, be the best of whatever you are. And that type of determination, you just can't tell a child that one time. But you have to keep drilling that in their heart, mind, and soul. And then one day they will believe that.
100 years ago, an Oklahoman who spent decades fighting racism was born. Clara Luper, pushing leaders to make big changes right here, creating a more equal society in the Sooner State. Her life's work is synonymous with standing up for the Black community. Her name dons many a building here, and her legacy far surpassing her time. Tonight, we look back at the life of Clara Luper, and this time not just as a civil rights leader, but as a mother. Her lessons, her passion still alive and motivating. Her daughter, Miss Marilyn Luper, giving us a very personal and poignant glance at her life as the child of a woman who made a significant impact in civil rights.
It's likely you know exactly who Clara Luper is. It's equally as likely you know part of her story, the one that takes Oklahoma back to August of 1958. Oklahoma City at Katz's Drug Store. And Mrs. Luper, a history teacher, and her students staged a sit-in determined to deconstruct segregation here. Back then, Black people weren't welcome to sit at lunch counters to eat, so Luper and her students sat until heads turned and changes were at least discussed. This helping to lead the Oklahoma City Council to eventually officially change the standard, creating an ordinance ending racial discrimination.
I'm so glad that we sat down here in Oklahoma City and protested at Katz's Drug Store.
But those who knew her best will tell you that's not all they know her for. She spent her life encouraging and pushing young people to do better, to do more, and she made no apologies about it. As a mom, she was just as serious about her kids as she was society.
She was a no-nonsense mom.
And education was her focus.
She believed that not only in the classroom, but she believed in the home that all kids could learn.
Her daughter Marilyn Luper telling us she was upfront about demanding your personal best, be it her own children or the kids in her classroom.
When we were in elementary school, every day we would come home, we would have to take this test. It would be 100 math problems, 100 addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division.
Saying she believed kids could do whatever they put their minds to and sometimes simply needed to be challenged.
She didn't play about grades. If you can eat, you can spell it.
And they rose to it each and every time as she knew they could.
You'd be surprised how quick you learn how to spell a hamburger.
Right. But she also knew during this time it was important for young people in the Black community to have a certain toughness because of what they were facing with racism.
You are Black, and I want you to understand that you're Black. And when you're Black in America, you're going to face certain injustices. So get some tough skin. You go buy you something if you don't have some.
Her mother, Clara, had been arrested dozens of times fighting for civil rights, but was nonstop in her drive to pressure the powers that be to see the racism they were living. And that oftentimes upset the norm. Marilyn remembers the response to her mother well.
When I was growing up, it was not very popular to be Clara Luper. When I was growing up, it was not very popular to be her child, because a lot of the white community hated her, and a lot of the Black community didn't understand. But in spite of any injustices that she faced, she always taught us, when they knock you down, that's okay. Keep trying. But when you fall down, at least look up when you fall down.
And it didn't stop. Threats on their lives were commonplace as well.
I remember when the FBI took me out of Douglas High School because they had a threat to bomb Douglas when I was a student there.
Marilyn even remembers a time when she wasn't certain if they would survive the hate, looking back on a day that used to be hard to talk about.
When we had left a protest, two white guys in a pickup truck were following my mom and my brother Calvin and I. I started telling this story at her funeral and could not complete it. But She said, Marilyn, Calvin, I'm not going to take you home.
Instead, opting for a safer location.
I'm going to take you around the corner to the Posey's house. And Mr. Posey was a church member of ours and a friend of the family.
Looper would give them very specific instructions on what they were to do next.
She said, when I turn this corner, I want you all to jump out of this car and run as fast as you can because I don't know what these people are going to do. And Calvin and I jumped out hollering and screaming, Mama, help, 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 help. And they opened the door and we went in. And I saw my mother drive off at that time. And I kept thinking to myself, what if my mother did not come back?
They lived to tell this story, but say this was life for them. They lived under the constant threat of prejudice. As did other civil rights leaders Looper and her family would ultimately get to know. And not everyone lived to tell their own tales of the time. But looking back, Marilyn is in awe of the life they led.
I probably went to more protests than anybody I know.
Okay.
But I was thinking the other night, Charleston Heston has been over to your house. Medgar Evers has been over to your house before he died.
Also reminding the community to be proud, saying that pride should be visible.
Fake it till you make it. It's okay not to have any money in your pocket, but you don't tell folks you don't have money. Walk like you know where you're going.
So now that Black History Month is behind us and her mother's birthday is celebrated, she can only be proud of the work her mother has done and has inspired.
Anytime that you can celebrate your history, it's great. And my mother has had an impact, not only in Oklahoma history, but she's had an impact nationwide.
Leaving us with a message she hopes will hit home for all people in every community.
We have a responsibility to say, oh no, you're not going to destroy my city. So that's why unity is so important. That's why love is so important. After he was killed.
And in closing, Miss Marilyn shared with me that the Black community has made headway, of course, but to keep pushing, learning, and fighting injustice. And most importantly, know the details of your history so you can do better and better understand where you and the community are going.